Hey gang, Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad and marketing gunslinger. Thanks for signing up to watch this. This is an interesting interview that I had with a young woman named Kate Strachny. Kate is a total rock star, one of the smartest people I've ever known, and she is a specialist in the data analysis world, right? She actually teaches people how to take data and then how to share it intelligently so that people can understand it better. Well, not long ago, she read my book, Uncopyable, How to Create an Unfair Advantage. Let's see if I can get that so it's not too shiny there. How to Create an Unfair Advantage over your competition. She read that. She thought it was great. And she and we connected with each other. And she said, I want to do this interview with you. And it's important because, and it's different because this time the interview is primarily focused on personal branding, which for the most part is what most people are trying to do, right? Even though Uncopyable was it's ostensibly written for businesses, if you read it from your own perspective as a personal branding textbook, so to speak, there's a lot of information in there that's going to help you. And so what we focused on was exactly that. So if you have a need for personal branding, now what are we thinking about here? How do you stand out in your own business, in your own community, your own world, your own niche, right? How can you become a big fish in a small but rich pond, which is what I've always taught, right? And also, if you are competing for a job, how do you separate yourself from that competition? So if personal branding is important to you, then this is going to be a great interview for you to watch. Take a lot of notes, and let me know what you think, because we were not able to cover everything that I had to talk about from a personal branding perspective, and would love to know if you'd like to get more information about that. So anyway, Here is my interview with Kate Strachny, and I hope you get a lot of great stuff out of it.
All right. Hello, LinkedIn and YouTube. We are live today with Steve Miller, Kelly's dad, marketing gunslinger, and author of the book called Uncopyable, which I read a couple of weeks ago, and now I have the pleasure of interviewing the author. Hello, Steve.
Oh, hi, Kate.
Oh, God, what is that? So for those tuning in today, you're going to get a lot of surprises. This is basically the Scott Taylor of marketing. And he's truly uncopyable. So, Steve, let's get started. And, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, and then you'll get to ask the question that you wanted to ask. So we're not going to start with that question.
I am Steve Miller. I'm better known as Kelly's dad and marketing gunslinger. I'm an author. I'm a professional speaker, consultant. I've done a gazillion both live and online presentations, and as you said, I get to say for the rest of my life that I am an Amazon #1 best-selling author because of Uncopyable, which was very exciting when you gave it big thumbs up, and appreciate that very much. Now you want me to ask them the question? I got a question for everybody as we get started, and Kate told me that I'm not supposed to read the comments, actually. So I have to make sure that I don't see the comments. All right. So I'm going to put my hand up on my face here to make sure that I don't see the comments over there. Okay. Anyway, my question for everybody is, what name do you wish you had? Not your own name. What name do you wish that you had? I wish my name was, because I used to be a radio DJ, and I've always had this fantasy of someday going back and being a radio DJ. And I would like my name to be Winston Fink. Wouldn't that be a great name?
Winston
what would your
Fink.
name be, Kate?
So my name, initially, I was not even Kate. So I wanted to be Kate, and I've changed my name legally to Kate. So I don't know if I could actually answer that question because.
So you got the name you wanted.
I got the name I want. I mean, that's
really cool.
Pretty much it.
That's very cool. Are you willing to share what your name was that you changed from?
No, very, very confidential information. Can't disclose. It was a woman's name, just to be clear.
Was it? You say it was a woman's name?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. I have to see it. All right.
So anyway, so uncopyable, before we even get into the book and talking about the term uncopyable, I do want to know more about your title, Kelly's Dad and Marketing Gunslinger. How did you come up with that? And how long ago did this happen?
Yeah, well, Kelly's dad started when Kelly was born. Kelly is now 27, almost 28 years old. But one of the things that I always wanted to make sure that people understood was that that I have priorities. Part of me being uncopyable was that I have, like, if you ever go to my website, for example, theadventure.com, you will find that I have in there Steve's rules. And I think not enough people do stuff like that. You guys should think about this, is that having your own rules that you actually publish. You say, here's who I am. Here's what I believe in. Here are my values. Here are these, and they are non-negotiable. Okay. So one of them was, I wanted everybody to know that I was a very proud, happy, and dedicated father. I'm also, I'm married to, my smoking hot wife, Kay, right?
Is she around somewhere?
What's that?
Is your wife around? I heard she might make an appearance.
I think she's on. I think she's on somewhere. At least she told me she was going to be on.
House, but okay.
But she's somewhere. So, and usually she comes right in the comments and says hello or something like that. But so number one, I wanted people to know that who I am. All right. That's why I call myself Kelly's dad. That's why it's first. And number two, I want to be uncopyable. Well, a part of being uncopyable is, and we can talk about it more, is that you have your own language. Okay. And I didn't want to just call myself a marketing consultant or advisor or something like that. Somewhere along the line, probably 15 years ago or so, we came up with the marketing gunslinger, and that stuck. And people remember that stuff too. Okay. So, did that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. It stuck with me because in your book, you mentioned that some prestigious newspaper or
some orange coffee here.
Yeah, they wanted to publish something about you, and they wanted to change your title. And
that happens all the time. I mean, when I get interviewed, and I've had it happen with the Wall Street Journal and New York Times, and I've done some interviews on like MSNBC and things like that, and they always want to change my title to CEO or president or something like that. And I just go, no, this is my title, and it's non-negotiable. So,
well, that's very memorable.
People remember that.
I've never met anyone that has like Kelly's dad or Michael's mom or something like
that. That's right. But people remember that. They might see me, or they'll see me somewhere and they'll go, Kelly's dad, and so see, it's an anchor that sticks in their head. Yeah. Nice sunglasses, by the way.
Oh, thanks. They're orange. They are from Kelly's dad. He sent them to me. So I feel like you have sunglasses too, but I don't know.
Yeah, where there might be.
Where would you possibly get them? Yes. So actually, cool thing about the glasses is, and I was telling this to Steve earlier, when you have the orange sunglasses on and look out the window, it looks like it's a sunrise or a sunset, and it's really pretty. Yeah, but the worst part is when you take them off and everything looks dull and boring.
Dull and boring.
Gray. We've got a question here from Matthew. So he says, hello, Steve and Kate.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Matthew. Nice to see you.
Yes, he enjoyed the book and he's trying to apply it to himself as an individual and his personal brand. So what advice would you give for something like that?
Obviously the book was primarily written for corporations, but I always tell people that, boy, when you read that, and just think about it from the perspective of yourself, okay? Because I would say over 80% of the information is very applicable to personal branding as well. If there's some things that I would suggest, number one is look for in personal branding. Number one is you want to be an authority, okay? And I mean a recognized authority, like being able to say published author, okay? that's, you've written a book. It could be a self-published book nowadays. It can be a short ebook. It doesn't matter as long as you've got something written. You want to establish yourself as an authority, and the written word is very, very powerful. And I would, when I wrote my first book, I literally wrote my first book. I am quite confident to say that there are people on here who were not born when my first book was.
What year was it? Let's see it.
1990. And and when that happened, literally overnight, the demand for my services, my fees, way up. So a book is huge, and that helps to make you uncopyable, because you can say, author of this book. Nobody else can say that, right? I would say that you want to be uniquely and authentically you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. People tend to go into into business, or if we say like the professional, they get into this professional mode, business mode, and then they start taking themselves seriously.
Yeah.
Well, the people that you're around are still people. They used to go to the movies. Can't say that anymore, but they have friends, they have family, they have hobbies, they have kids, they have all this stuff, and they're still people. And so anytime you can come in and not make a joke, you're not making a joke of business, okay? Yeah. But you're showing that you have a unique personality. Clearly, I have a very quirky personality. It's very difficult for me to be serious for long periods of time. So I embrace that.
Yes.
Okay, and just have fun. And my clients know that. If you read my book, I hope if those of you that have read my book, I hope you read and you can kind of hear my personality in there. And I would say another good thing to do is to come up with some kind of a promise for people of what you are going to deliver or who you work with, right?
Mm-hmm.
A very clear statement of what you're going, whether it's a particular niche that you work in, and to say, okay, I have a good friend of mine who is a consultant. She used to be the marketing director for Tony Robbins. Well, she decided to go off on her own. And she went out and searched for a niche that she thought could use marketing help. Mm-hmm. And she discovered managed service providers, right? MSPs, people, small companies that run IT, for businesses and stuff. And they were very, had real problems with their marketing and stuff like that. So she stepped in and she said, okay, I'm going to own this niche. So right now, her name is Robin Robbins. And she owns that niche. Okay. Mm-hmm. And, but she has just taken marketing and gone after that niche. So you can take, an area of being, of being a data scientist, and pick a niche. You can pick a specialty and stuff like that. And just, and just really go after it, really go after it hard.
I like how you said data scientist. You're speaking our language now.
I have no idea what that means.
Oh, stop. It's just like a regular scientist, but with data.
It's taped up on my computer here. Don't forget to say data scientist, okay?
That's funny.
I've now customized my presentation today. Thank you very much, people.
Yes. Susan Walsh is here, and she says that your advice is spot on. So Susan is the classification guru. So she's definitely got her personality. She's definitely uncopyable. And Susan, thank you for.
Well, and there you go. Okay, now it's like classification gurus, and then what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to look for ways to anchor my promise. To anchor my, whatever my branding statement is, I'm going to look for ways to anchor that into people's minds.
Yeah.
Right. So, like we were laughing, because we got the orange sunglasses and we got orange stuff. And Kay and I, my smoking hot wife, Kay, and I we make every effort to attach the word uncopyable to people. And so then we look for things that we can do to anchor that in people's minds. So that when they are reminded of stuff, yeah, okay, that is the only. Now it's not that is not the only. It's the only manufactured moose whistle in the world. And
so
there was a
production problem with that
particular batch because they said something else, but they're really moose whistles, okay? Because
yes. And your smoking hot wife is here, and she says
he's funny. Yeah, but she won't show her face. You see that? I don't know why she doesn't show her face.
She can't. We can send her a link and have her join.
Don't you dare. And
you just want all the spotlight on you. That's it.
All about me.
So Matthew says,
if she comes on, I'll be very slowly pushed off to the side. So yeah, so Matthew, see, he even says, get the moose whistle. Now what we're talking about there is, again, language. So in my book, I refer to whoever your target market is. This is irrelevant whether you are a single person looking for a job or you are a big company. You have a target market, right? You might have a certain type of companies, size companies, again, like I say, like a niche they're in or something, and whoever that target is, we refer to them as the moose, because it's the moose in the forest. You're not going after all the animals in the forest. That's a really important part about both personal self-marketing and self-branding, is that you really only care about who you're talking to. In fact, I remember when you and I spoke the first time, Kate, or whatever your real name is.
Kate, my name is Kate. Just call me Kate.
When you and I spoke the first time, you talked about how when you go to certain conferences, right, that you actually feel like a bit of a rock star because people recognize you, they know your name, they want to
just
get
the data conferences. Yeah, just the data.
But you see, that's the point. You see, that's your niche, and those are your moose. So you see, and if I go to a data conference, not many people would. Most people would know me, but I would say that. No, I'm kidding. Nobody would know me.
I would know you.
Nobody would have any idea who I am, even though I would be walking around going, "Why isn't anybody talking to me?" I'd be nervous about that. But that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is that you are a big fish in a small but rich pond. That's really a big tip there. So
for those out there, this is a whistle that it's actually a dog whistle, and the packaging said that due to manufacturing errors, or I actually still have the sticker somewhere. That was my favorite part, where it said, due to manufacturing errors, this whistle has been mislabeled, and it's actually a moose whistle. That was so funny.
Yeah. And if you blow it,
well, I have dogs in my
watch out. Stampede.
But yeah, Matthew says she's dedicated. Yes, thank you. I actually got that term trademark.
Exactly right. See, and okay, so and I'm gonna give some advice here to Kate about that. See, what I would do with your giveaways and so this applies to everybody else. Like if I were talking to you, see, I would say I would use phrases like, "Are you dedicated?"
Yeah.
Be dedicated.
I have a friend who told me to end each show and say, "Stay dedicated."
Yeah, stay dedicated. I would play with that all the time. We always say, be uncopyable, stay uncopyable. Are you uncopyable? Stuff like that. We use it in our terminology. We use it in some of our giveaways, and people love that stuff. And it anchors in their mind.
Yeah,
you're continuing to reinforce that word and the play on words, of dedicated.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of Uncopyable and moose hunting and all of that, why did you decide to write this book? I know you said you wrote a book in 1990. I don't know if you wrote a book in between there.
Yeah, this Uncopyable is my seventh book.
Seventh book. There you go. See, I need to look into your other book.
See, look how high up on the authority ranking I just jumped on for everybody.
Ooh, he's got 7 books.
7 books. So yeah, here's what happened was that, and I talk about it in my book. There was an inkling of it when I was growing up. My dad was co-inventor of the 8-track tape player. Most of you heard about it, read about it in history books, and during that whole process, to keep this brief, when they decided to manufacture, this is now back in the 1960s, when they decided to manufacture the 8-track tape player in Japan. Japan was still actually rebuilding from the war. So made in Japan back in the 60s was not a great phrase. That most of the time it was junk. So they brought in a guy who was working with Toyota at the time, W. Edwards Deming, and he helped my dad and his partner Bill Lear to make sure that the product had high enough quality to be able to sell to the United States. And in conversation, and Dad used to drag me along with him on business trips or dinners with these guys or something. He thought that, some of what they said would rub off on me. And it really didn't. No, when you're a teenage kid, you're like, I have no interest in being
it's the last thing you want to do, of course.
Old white guys, And one time Deming was talking about benchmarking, which was one of the cornerstones of his total quality management philosophy. And he said, benchmarking is really important. He said, but there are two types of benchmarking. One type of benchmarking is where you are measuring yourself against the competition. So in your case, from a personal branding perspective, obviously you're measuring yourself against other data scientists, right? Whether they're within your company or they're at other companies that are maybe competitors of yours or something like that. You're all competing, for different types of jobs. And if you look and act like everybody else, then you just blend in with the crowd. And that was kind of what he said. He said, well, so one type of benchmarking is to see how you are performing compared to the competition. Now, if the competition is outperforming you, then you need to raise the bar. But if you want new ideas, if you want to be seen as different, if you want to separate yourself from the competition, then you have to benchmark outside of your world. And that's where you get new ideas. Now, he told me that, back when I was a teenager. It didn't really stick with me until many, many years later when I was called by Jim Nordstrom, and I was in a meeting with him, and we got to talking, and he said, we might like to hire you to come in and consult for Nordstrom. And I said, I don't know anything about retail. Yeah. And he said, that's exactly why we would want to hire you. He said, because if we hired a retail consultant, he or she they would just tell us what they tell everybody else. You have no experience in here. So we want to hear what you teach people, because most of the companies I deal with are in the B2B world. I do work with some B2C, but most of them are in the B2B world. So he said that way we might hear something new, something that we are not familiar with. Maybe it's common in another industry, but we can bring it back and see if we can use it here. And so, and that was like the lightning bolt, that hit me in the head, and it said that is important, right? And the beauty of it for me, or I should say the lucky thing for me, was that I have a very eclectic background. I was a PGA tour golfer. I worked in the copper mines of Arizona, really? 1,500 feet down, breaking rock until my sentence was over. And then when that was a joke. And I worked in Hollywood a little bit as a stuntman in Hollywood and things like that. And so I have a very eclectic background. Now, my parents just thought I couldn't keep a job. But then as I got older and started doing this stuff, because I had all these varied experiences and people that I've met and talked to and stuff, I could see different things and then bring them into. So like if I were consulting directly with you guys, I would be going out and talk and studying somebody in a completely different world, right? And we call it stealing genius, where you go and you study people or organizations in a completely different world, and you look for ideas, and then you steal that and you bring it back into your world. We call it stealing genius. You study aliens. Stealing genius from aliens. Yes, I was about to correct you. Thank you very much. Yes. Good thing I got there. Waiting for a moment to correct you. We've got
We got some comments here. So Susan says it's a fascinating career history, and Russell says that he's actually just watched a TV program about the Brubaker box motor vehicle that also mentioned the co-inventor of the 8-track tape.
Cool.
And your wife,
he probably didn't even know what an 8-track was before he saw that. So,
Yes, Kate calls you Forrest Gump. I actually just watched this movie, Forrest Gump, probably 2-3 months ago. Everyone's been telling me to watch it, I don't know, for years now, because I love to run longer distances, and I finally watched it. A lot of sad moments, but a very good movie.
It was a fantastic movie, and like you say, I mean, long distance running. I've got a client that is a long distance runner. He last week he ran 100 miles. We don't know where he is, but he ran 100 miles.
Yes. So in your wait, did you just say you don't know where he? Steve, listen, you're breaking my focus. See, oh my God, that's funny. So, okay, now I've got a question here that I've prepared because I really want to know your answer. In the book, you said, look at what everybody else is doing and don't do that, right? I want to bring it and make this a bit more relevant to the data community.
Sure.
So I know you love talking about data science.
It's my second favorite thing this morning.
What was your first favorite thing?
What name would you prefer to be called? Never mind.
Oh my God. Yes, no, that was an interesting question. It was not the worst question I've had. So
how would I do that?
Yes. So how can people working in data or who want to work in data, make it broad, not even data science, it could be data engineering, data analysis. Sure. How can they look at what other people are doing and then not do that? Like, isn't that what? Yes.
I think that there's the way you want to look at this is a couple of ways. One is both what's their kind of modus operandi, right? How do they approach a job or work or something like that? How do you pick out somebody, you kind of study them, you say, okay, how do they, and you start to kind of list down things about them, right? About how they go about their job. Then the other thing I would do is I would ask myself, okay, how do they present themselves, right? As their type of personality or something like that. And you know what we can find out is there is and in my book I refer to it as the box, that people tend to look and act like people that they hang out with. Companies tend to look and act like the competition in their industry, okay? Because and it's because we hang out with them, right? Yeah. We go to the conferences with them, and we look and we say, okay, there is a type of person that we can actually like describe an avatar, so to speak, right? And say that a typical data scientist or data engineer or somebody like that, behaves like this, dresses like this, talks like this. I mean, it's the old, back when I was at Purdue University, we had pocket protectors, right? That's what we had, for our pen.
That is so cool.
And we had slide rules, hanging on our belts. So, and we all did. Everybody who was in engineering at Purdue did. So we all looked exactly alike. Yeah. And so you see, you can do that. So you start to develop like, okay, here are some of the things that I can put on this list. Now you take it and you turn this into kind of, it's the old Benjamin Franklin method, where you take a piece of paper and you draw a line down the middle. And so on the left side, you say, all right, here's what here's how I kind of see everybody, acting like, all right. And then on the other side, you put down how you behave. Mm-hmm. And what you're going to find out is you do a lot of stuff very similar to everybody else on the other side. And your objective is to find things that make you uniquely valuable or uniquely interesting, uniquely useful, right? And so the idea of look at what everybody else is doing and then don't do it is you start to go through the list. You say, okay, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop doing that because when I do all those things, then I just kind of blend in with the crowd.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people want to blend in, which is also interesting because there's that fear of standing out. I think especially in school, right, as teenagers, we're taught to try to fit in or else you get picked on, or, I think we're sort of brainwashed to be like the rest so you don't stand out. But I think in the career space, once you're in the real world, I agree, it's very good to stand out, especially amongst a very large crowd. Like the data community is pretty big. So
yeah, and you can look at any community, and I guarantee you, we can look at your community and we can see people, right? And there are people that we know about. Scott Taylor, the data whisperer, yes.
Are
you on? Is Scott Taylor on?
I don't know. I don't know if he's doing the session.
Puppets. I love your puppets. You rock, my friend. You rock because the puppets are not only awesome, but you have a great sense of humor. Okay? See, so right there, the data whisperer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the fact that you got the puppets, man, I would rock that thing. I would rock that thing to death. See, because you can think of, and basically what in some industries they're called celebrities. Some industries they're called personalities. Some industries they're rock stars.
Yeah.
Right. And every industry has them. Every single one. I know
some industries are crazy people.
Kate Strachnyi is a rock star in this industry because you know what? She's a runner. She's got 2 kids. I don't know if she has a husband, but
yes, I do. She's in the basement. I keep him in the basement.
The basement. Well, that's where I am. That's where Kate keeps me.
That's where we keep the men.
So anyway, I mean, I think I hope you're getting what I'm talking about here.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Brian is getting it too. He says, being a commodity is not a good thing. Great tips to stand out. Steve, I actually have a surprise for you. We've got Matthew Emmerich here, who read your book, wrote a review. I actually invited him on the show for a few minutes, and I'm going to...
Oh, don't embarrass me.
I'm just going to go ahead and add him to the stream. So, Matthew, you're on mute. You have to unmute yourself. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hey, everyone. Yep. My name is Matthew Emmerich. I'm Charlie's dad. He's taking a nap right now.
It's not a cat, huh?
Maybe.
I love it. Thank you for the great review, Matthew.
Thank you for the great read.
Yes. So, Matthew, I saw you join us. Oh, there you go. I saw you joined us, and I just figured I'd invite you on for a few minutes just to, maybe share your main takeaway from the book.
It really made me think, and I have a bit of a philosophy background, so I overthink usually. But really, to be uncopyable is to be yourself, because we're all unique people. Stop trying to be like everybody else. Be your own unique self. If everybody did that, I think the whole world would be better off. And I think it goes past business. It goes past your personal brand. It goes into just being yourself. Embrace your weirdness, if you will.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it, Matthew. Most like you said earlier, Kate. You said a lot of us try to blend in. A lot of us were brought up to blend in, quite frankly. And if you blend in, let me just put it in real raw terms. You ain't gonna make a lot of money, gang. You ain't gonna make a lot of money. Rock stars make money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think it's even that difficult to stand out, especially when everyone is trying so hard to do the same thing.
Ding, 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 ding.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's not that hard.
Oh,
yeah.
It's not that hard.
Oh, you got your whistle.
You got your whistle.
Where's your whistle?
And if you, and the thing about my book, and I don't want to insult you guys or anything like that, because it might actually read too low for you guys. It's mostly 1-syllable words, the way I talk and think, and stuff. But it'll take you just, a very short period of time to read it. That's for sure. But you should be able to walk away with some, at least 1 or 2 ideas that will help you be more successful.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. So Matthew, thank you so much for jumping in totally unexpectedly and unplanned. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, and also, Matthew, by the way, if you guys haven't read Matthew's review, Matthew's review is what I would call an unreview, right? It's not a
Thank
typical
you.
review. The way he wrote the review is great. We, Kay and I got a huge kick out of reading that review because it was funny and so true. Thought you knew me personally
I was inspired, and thank you for that.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah, and the book took me 2 mornings to read. I typically read early morning, and it was very quick to read, but I found myself taking so many notes of ideas that just flew to me. I really enjoyed it. So that's why you're here, Steve. So we can talk more.
Thank you very much. And those of you that have got it, because I know that a lot of you have, because we have the field guide, that we offer. Throughout the book, we keep saying you can go get the field guide, which you can use to kind of help execute some of the stuff in the book. And so, I don't know who's buying a book. I don't know how many books are being sold, quite frankly. But I do know, that when the field guides go out, and a lot of them have been going out ever since Kate, featured my book, and so we're greatly appreciative.
Yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say I only talk about the books that I actually enjoy. So you'll never catch me talking about a book I didn't read and truly enjoy. So Matthew, if you don't mind, can you put the link in the comments for your review, just so people can go check that out in the live stream, if that's okay?
Will do.
And thank you so much again for jumping out, Matt.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Matthew.
All right, Steve. So we've got another question here from Mary. I'll just scroll up. There it is. Okay. Mary is asking, how can a company have a unique personality like solo owners can do? And this is really a great question. I think a lot of companies are trying to.
All right. I'm going to out Mary. Mary's a client of ours.
Okay.
She's been a client of ours for a long time. You try to translate that into this question, but what your company. But I love her to death because she is. Okay, because we should all have our own values. We should, like I say, and she also wrote them down for my rules in the U.S. Sun River. Came out because I had a client who just kept treating Mary. Great to see you. Treating me back. How can a company have a unique personality like solo owners? I finally had to fire the client, and it represented a huge chunk of our income. That when a company,
that's hard to do.
And in particular, when you talk about small businesses. Well, you can either choose to be miserable on here as well. You can choose to move have companies. The period of pain usually isn't the personality of the founder. We've been in pain longer during this coronavirus than most people are. With Jeff Bezos. If you've got a bad job, Steve Jobs. All right, personalities went to Disney or create your own Disney. And so, it's
great advice if you can implement it, right?
Their personalities. You can implement it. It takes a bold step. Of course it does. Be different means that you are asking for attention. Tell the world. And not everybody wants that attention. And that's okay. That's okay. I don't have any problem with that. But, don't be unhappy in what you're doing. And, move on. Loves dogs. Move on. She's got great. So Mary, move on, doggone it.
All right, move on. So we're moving on to the next question from Andrew. You ready?
She's a bit of a clown.
Andrew Huddleston. So how to use LinkedIn and conferences and trade shows all together.
How to use them all together. Well, basically what you're doing, number one, trade shows, we'll see. We'll see what happens with those.
Why? What's wrong with trade shows? Aren't you like the king of trade shows or something?
Well, that's how I started my business was in that. But right now, trade shows, the largest trade shows in the world are canceled right and left. They just canceled CES that's scheduled for January of 2021.
Yeah.
These are massive events, and they're canceling them, and they have to figure out some way to present them virtually. But if we do look at it from LinkedIn, conferences, and trade shows and events all together, essentially, again, you develop your branding proposition is the big phrase, right? I call it. It's just your promise. That's what it is. It's your promise to the marketplace. My promise to the marketplace, is that I am going to give you the best marketing and branding advice you've ever had. I'm going to deliver it in a unique fashion. You're going to have a lot of fun with me while you do it. I'm also going to hold your feet to the fire to be different.
Mhm.
And so when I go to conferences, when I go to like for example, like at trade shows, I'm not going to give away the same old crap that everybody else is going to give away at a show. For example, I'm going to give away moose whistles.
Yeah.
I'm going to give away orange sunglasses. I'm going to give away. I will. I won't give away literature, for example. Everybody takes literature to trade shows.
Brochures, yes, more custom read.
Yeah. Stick this in your bag with everybody else's, literature. That's called the box. That's the box, right? So you've got everybody else. Again, you just take that branding proposition of yours, the promise you're making to the marketplace, of the value of your services, as well as the uniqueness of your services, the uniqueness of you, and and you put those together, and so you have a unique selling proposition, right? And then you deliver that everywhere you go. Everything walks the talk. That's one of the big things. Everything walks the talk. And I think Kate and Matthew will tell you that we walk the talk. Mary will too. Mary will tell you that we walk the talk. So I hope that in LinkedIn, don't be like everybody else on LinkedIn. Have puppets. Get on a bike and ride and do your live while you're riding your bike.
Yeah, that was an experiment.
But you know what? You never know. You don't know until you try.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm surprised you didn't mention this because it was in your book and it was in the package you sent, the business cards, right? It was interesting you said to have a business card that stands out because when was it? Probably a year and a half ago, I got myself new business cards that are square shape. And one side just has the microphone. I actually have one here, but my daughter autographed it.
I like it.
So the stuff with the circle is not part of the business card, and the other one has a bit more detail, but it's square.
Yeah.
And a few people, when I showed it to them, they're like, "Oh no, it's not going to go over well. It doesn't fit in with the rest." I'm like, "That's the best part."
The moment somebody says that to you, you know you're doing the right thing. Okay. Yeah. Let me tell you that right now. When somebody says to you, "Oh, you shouldn't do that," huge piece of advice here. Those are people who have never done it.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody who tells you don't do that, they have never done it. The only people you should ever take advice from are people who are who you want to be.
Yeah.
Okay. You take advice from people who are more successful, who are at the level that you want to get to, and those are the only people you should pay attention to. Here, see, and we talk about the business card.
Yep.
And this and here's another thing. You know what? I'm meeting a lot of people who say, "Oh, I don't even have any business cards. I don't need it." I go, "Man, I love competing with you." Because you know what? I get to go hand somebody my business card.
Yeah.
Now, business cards are your number one marketing tool. Okay. And, whether you hand it to somebody or you send it to them. Okay. Basically, here's my orange business card because orange is my color. All right. And it says Steve Miller, Kelly's dad, marketing gunslinger, stuff like that. Ask, what makes you uncopyable. Okay. But on the other side, I've got this little cartoon, two aliens, and one is saying, "Are you mentally undressing me?" And the other one is saying, "No, I'm mentally marketing myself."
There you go.
Right? Okay. This accomplishes a lot because this tells the people who I am.
Yeah.
All right. I have an edge. And if that doesn't make you laugh, if you look at that and you kind of go, "Oh, that's kind of offensive," we are never going to work together. It helps me to pull out who clients are, and because you know what? I am not for everybody, and you should not be for everybody either.
Yeah, and I guess that's why you have your rule book, right? So then you can rule out the people. It's a rule book that rules people out, so you don't have to waste time with the people you don't want to work with.
We fired people, and we just say you violated the rule of fun, or you violated the rule of family. We send them. We send them. In the old days, we'd send them a FedEx that had a letter that said you violated this rule. You're fired.
Seriously?
Oh yes.
You're very creative. Oh my God! If I got fired with a FedEx,
well,
that would be interesting. We've got some comments here from Mary
Mary
she-
again.
Yeah, she says, thanks, Steve. I always hear things a different way, and that's why I stalk you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna and huge props to Mary, because one of the things that Mary is great at is that there are things that Mary has heard me say today that she has heard me say for many years. But when she keeps hearing it, I'm presenting it in a little different fashion. You know, we're talking about it from the data scientist perspective. We're talking about it from a personal perspective, things like that. And when you hear things over and over again, but you hear them a little different way, one day it clicks, you know, it absolutely clicks. You just go, I can do that.
Well, just like for you, right? With Edward Deming.
Yeah,
and then,
it didn't click until Jim Nordstrom, right?
No. Another one from Mary, that she doesn't have a moose whistle, Steve. I don't know what you're going to do about this.
You can drive up and pick one up. I guess Kay better send you a moose whistle.
Yes, and Andrew says that my signed version is a collectible. And then I took it.
I agree. You know what? And I'm going to tell you, I would have your daughter sign every single card.
Oh my God.
I would.
She's 4, so yeah, that's gonna.
You know what? And you hand it out and you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, but this is the only one I got." You know, and every card in your, in your bag, every card in your bag has her signature on it. But you just go, "Oh, is this okay? Is this okay?" They're gonna go. They will always remember that card.
Yeah, absolutely. And Andrew likes your card with the humor, because it's an instant icebreaker, which is great. You meet somebody for the first time, you exchange the boring cards, and you're like, "Oh, you're at this bank, okay?" And then there's a joke on the back, so that's really cool.
Oh yeah. They, when that was how I would, when I used to attend the TED conference, and I spoke at TED in many years ago, and and when you're surrounded by 1,000 of the smartest, richest, most famous people on the planet, and and just Steve, right? You're kind of like, how do I stand out? And if I hand them my card, they always got a huge kick out of that. So it kind of helped break the ice. When I was meeting people, you kind of go, oh, geez.
Yeah. So we've got more questions. I know we're a little bit over the planned time, so I'll take one last question from the audience before we wrap up. We've got a good one here from Stephanie. She's asking, what advice would you give for being uncopyable in a virtual booth at a virtual conference? And I think maybe to expand this a bit more, just as a participant in a virtual conference. So if you can answer both those questions.
I would, well, number one.
Yes.
Every marketing tool needs to have an offer. Every marketing tool. You have to have a direct response mechanism built in. That's marketing. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you do not have a direct response, if you don't have a lead magnet, if you don't have something to give away to people, then you're advertising. Okay. And then you're just hoping that somebody will someday contact you. I would have something that I would offer people that, would be like one example, and it's it's our favorite example of a giveaway. And that is to put together years ago when I was doing trade shows, when I was primarily doing trade shows, I wrote an article I had a monthly column in a magazine, and I wrote an article one time, and it said, here are the 10 questions you should ask when you want to hire a trade show marketing consultant. Right? Okay. So I come up with these 10 questions. Here's a secret. I fit my own criteria very well.
Of course you do. Every answer leads them to you.
Well, not everyone.
Is he Kelly's dad?
You can't make it so obvious, right?
I know.
You see, you do you have 7 questions that everybody else is going to say, oh yeah, blah, 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 and it's all fine. And then you have 3 questions, just you, right? Yeah. Well, the funniest, and that's a valuable thing for people to have. And Kay and I loved it when one day she got a call from somebody who said, yeah, I'd like to talk to you about maybe doing some consulting for us. Can I ask you some questions? And the person started going through the list of questions.
Okay.
They didn't know I was the one who wrote the article.
Oh my God. Did you keep going along with it, or did you stop him right there?
Oh, no. We not a word. Didn't say a word.
That's That's really funny. Oh my God.
So you see something like that where you offer like a little giveaway that has some kind of value that's useful and interesting to people, not just a tchotchke that doesn't have it. If you're going to have something, make sure there's a story. If you're going to have you give somebody a moose whistle, there's a story behind that. Okay, you give.
This is a virtual conference, Steve. We can't, like, let's say if you have a virtual booth, are you going to invest and send everybody a moose whistle?
Yes, I am. Because if I can talk to them virtually, all right, I can qualify who they are, and I can say, you know what, I got something I can send to you, and that's another point. I would not just send it electronically. I would look to send it to them in the mail, because when you got that box, that meant that's better than if I had sent you something via email.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's one really good way to stand out, because you can bet no one's sending actual things from a virtual conference.
Nobody is. And direct mail, everybody goes to their mailbox.
Yes. Every
single day. And the mailbox is empty now. And if somebody sends me something, it gets opened. So that's what you need. So I would find something that I could send to people. I qualify them on my, in a virtual booth. I'm going to have a conversation with them, right? For the most part. And whether I give them I answer some questions for them and stuff like that, and say, hey, we should continue this conversation. I've got something that I'd love to send you, and I have to mail it to you. So you get their address, and of course you get their email. You follow up and say thanks a lot, for talking. Watch your mailbox. So so now I'm doing stuff that other people aren't doing.
Yeah, I've been to several online, these are data conferences over the past few months, and not one of them has actually offered to mail you anything. And these are bigger companies that are sponsoring the events, and you'd think they would, because it's such an easy way to stand out, since absolutely nobody's doing that.
That's right.
And they've got all the stuff.
That's right.
Because once the conferences are allowed back in.
Just understand this: the bigger the company, the dumber they are. Okay. Yeah,
I must be very smart. I'm a company of one, so.
That's right. Yeah, the smaller the companies, you're twice as smart as we are, because we have two of us.
There you go. And actually, Matthew has a great idea. He said have an uncopyable background. There's one guy, oh God, I don't know where I saw this. It was really funny. He had a background of a video playing of himself, like doing cartwheels in an office behind him. And it just kept going. Now that's not going to get people's attention. I don't know what.
You have of course, a background, but in virtual, whether you don't have products that you're demoing or anything like that. It's you. You could wear something unique.
Yeah.
Orange.
Right? Orange. Yeah, there are a lot of comments coming in about the color of my nails. So I have alternating.
I started to say something, but I noticed they're not all orange, So.
Oh, look, Susan says she got a surprise package from an online event she attended, and she was impressed. Is that an orange cup? Oh, no, it's pink. Put that down.
Was it, Susan, was it blue? Just let me know.
Susan, what was it? Her background is pretty unique. Yeah, she when she does her videos, you should definitely check her out. She has bright pink, what do you call those? Like garlands? I don't know what you call them in English. Anyways, it's very shiny and it's very pink, and it's very much Susan's personality. So
then be pink.
Yes.
Be pink. Think Mary Kay.
Yeah.
So a lot of online events are using these shock and awe packages that Susan is referring to. Now, and it's in particular, the ones that are really doing it are being produced by a company called Sage Events. The Tony Robbins, Stu McLaren has one coming up. They did one for, they do it for a lot of these internet gurus that used to have big conferences are now going virtual, and they have been utilizing, we call them shock and awe packages. I talk about that in the book. It is a fantastic marketing tool. That's what you got, was a shock and awe package. There are so many more ideas in the book, and I really hope you guys get it. And before you kick me out, I want to give away something. Can I give away something?
Yes, go for it.
And I need you to type this in.
Okay.
So
So is it a link or is it
it's going to be a link. Yeah.
Okay.
Theadventure.com.
Hold on. Theadventure.com. Yes.
Right, /dedicated.
All right.
All right. You go there and.
Oh, that's it. I was expecting to write a long link. I was ready.
Nope. That's it. And you go there, and we have a short. It's called speed branding. Three tips for speed branding.
Oh my God!
Did you go?
My picture on there. You're hilarious. Oh my God, this is.
I am uncopyable.
Okay? Wow. Okay.
And, so if you go there and sign up, get to see Kate's picture, and we'll send you that right away. And then I'm gonna follow up with something fun for those of you that either have purchased my book or do purchase my book. I will follow up with you by email. If you sign up, I'm going to follow up with you by email to send you something fun. There it is.
Oh my God. So guys, Steve sent me some stuff, including these glasses. And he said, "Oh, I'd love to see a picture of you in the glasses." That's the picture. Unfortunately, I didn't know where it was going to end up.
You shouldn't have done. You put personality in it. Most people send us a picture, and it's like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the way that looked. So
no, it looked great. We were so excited. We're going to put that everywhere. We're going to use that picture everywhere.
So I'm like, I'm going to do his profile picture.
Look at that. Supermodel Kate Strachny.
Yes, thank you.
Right. Showing off the latest version of the Adventure sunglasses. So
the last question I want to ask you is, where can people go to get the book?
Well, you can go to Amazon. So. Amazon is the best. I shouldn't say the best. I mean, Amazon is Amazon. It's got it, hardback, paperback, and Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you, don't order the hardback. And the reason why is the hardback is still the first edition. The paperback and the Kindle are the second edition.
Mm.
Okay, and that includes it's an expanded version of the first book. A couple of added chapters, including a whole bunch of examples that Kay has collected of companies that we deem to be uncopyable, and what they're doing to be uncopyable. And if you get a chance to, so you go sign up, you're going to get on our, and you'll get my weekly video, and we'd love to have you guys there. And if you have any questions, you can contact me through there, or you can just send an email to stevemiller@theadventure.com.
Yeah, that was going to be my very last question: is where can people go? You're doing my job for me. I'm just going to go make.
I don't know. I feel like I've done this before.
What? No way.
I'm not sure how this works, but we'd love to have you contact us, and have you pick up that the speed branding. It's a one sheet, but it's 3 tips, guaranteed.
We like things with numbers, so if it's 3 tips, it's good.
Okay.
It's a number, people, and it's speed. So speed is also.
That's right. Right. So this has been awesome.
Yes, thank you so much, Steve, and thanks for those who joined, and thanks for the really funny comments. I know I couldn't get to all the comments and questions, but Steve, you can now look at them. Oh, look, Kay has added your and her email address. So
actually, I will be very honest with you. Most people prefer Kay. Because my clients call. If I answer the phone, they go, "Oh, it's you." But anyway, so
it's Kelly's dad. Where's Kelly's mom? Right?
Let me talk to Kelly's mom. Smoking hot wife. That's right.
Smoking hot wife. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you again, and this will be up on YouTube as well if people want to go check out the recording.
And if I didn't answer your question and you still want me to answer it, email me.
Yes, email Steve or Kay. Either one.
Thank you very much, Kate.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Bye.